This is boring, but it's guaranteed to lose belly fat. Many guys still chase 8-week challenges or fad diets, and sure, they may lose some weight, but it always comes back on. Instead, in my 9 years of coaching, I always see busy men who get and stay lean sticking to boring systems. So I'll show you 3 simple steps to make losing fat more automatic, even if you're over 30 with a busy schedule. But first, you need to understand why boring wins every single time. So what do billionaires like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg have in common? Well, except for billions of dollars, they wear the same boring outfit. The fewer choices they waste energy on, the more focus they have for things that matter. So when it comes to losing fat, most guys struggle with their diet because it's too exciting and very easy to overcomplicate, which is why you might scroll for random recipes, end up ordering Uber Eats, or just eat whatever someone's cooked for you. It's this decision fatigue that keeps you defaulting to options that aren't always the best ones. So like Steve Jobs' simple uniform, it helps to apply this to your diet with predictable, repeatable meals that's going to remove stress and increase your consistency over long term. Here's an example of what I found works best for others and I. For breakfast, sticking to the same high protein smoothie pretty much every morning. I literally don't want to cook or make anything else or get creative. Just make the damn shake, drink the thing, and get on with the day. Lunch and dinner are very simple. A protein, a carb, some veg or salad, a sauce or seasoning for different flavors, which could be like grilled chicken with a salad or veg, either some rice or potato, and you just rotate different sauces. So it's like the structure, but different combinations every lunch and nighttime is very easy to stick to. For pre and post workout snacks, I stick to an apple or berries or rice cakes with honey, but you can also do fruit or a protein shake, protein yogurt if you need to get more protein to hit your target, which we'll talk about shortly. So it's boring compared to what most people are eating, but it works because it saves time, saves money, stress, and mental energy. But what if you eat out a lot? Well, eating out won't necessarily make you fat, but doing it without a plan will. Most of my clients do eat out, as do I, at least once a week, which is acceptable because breakfast or lunch just stays simple and clean. Or worst case, you can simply skip a breakfast if you need those calories allocated to dinner or lunch. If you don't know what your budget is, you can find out what it is using my calculator. Link is in the description below the video. Problem is, most guys treat food as if it's their entertainment. I used to do this as well because who love food? But food's job is energy and nourishing your body. Not every single meal you eat needs to be entertaining or exciting. That's just a bonus if it is. Like if you're trying to fine dine 3 times a day, every day, sooner or later, you just want a plain boring meal. But there's a few key rules to keep this stupidly simple. Always include protein with your breakfast, lunch, and dinner because it's going to keep you fuller for longer and it's going to fuel muscle repair from your training, which we'll cover shortly. You should already know all this too. You'll also have less cravings if you eat more protein. You want to keep your grocery list as simple as possible. Eggs, chicken, lean beef, turkey, fish, or Greek yogurt. Then for carbs, potatoes and rice or oats, 1 to 2 fruits, honey, a mix of veggies, simple sauces, rice cakes, or protein yogurt cups. Then you can just lock your breakfast in every day, same thing. You can have 1 or 2 lunch options and 4 to 5 dinner options. And then your plan is looking boringly good. Next, let me show you how keeping boring training will outperform 99% of fancy routines. So imagine you're building a house, but every month you redesign the entire floor plan, which means you never get the roof completed. This is how guys keep changing workouts far too often without letting your body actually adapt long enough to grow and see the results. The research is also against this too. This 2022 systematic review and meta-analysis confirmed periodized resistance training has a greater effect on 1 rep max strength compared to non-periodized resistance training. So don't waste time doing random workouts or whatever you feel like or in the mood for on the day. What works is sticking to the fundamentals. So progressively overloading them for at least 3 to 6 months, and if you do that, you're going to see major changes. To build muscle, you need to get good at lifting, and that takes time and reps. Lots of them on the right exercises over many months. But if you are strapped for time, skip the fluff like calf raises or endless ab work or forearm curls. just doing the fundamentals correctly will strengthen enough of those muscles anyway. So here's a simple structure for just 3 workouts a week. A press for your chest and shoulders, a pull for your back, squat or something similar for your quads and legs, a hinging movement for the hamstrings and your arms. 4 components, 1 exercise for each body part, 3 workouts a week. That's a highly effective and efficient foundation no matter where you're starting from. That also gives you 4 full recovery days to repair and grow, take care of business, family, friends, and whatever else that you like to do. Barbells and dumbbells should be the priority, but if machines are all you have, that's completely fine. Don't stress about that. You want to stay in the 6 to 20 rep range and progress within that range. And that's really the secret, is your progression. You don't need 12 different workouts or chest Mondays, bicep Tuesday, back Wednesday. Like, I don't care if some roided up bodybuilders did that and it worked. It doesn't mean that we should copy them unless you want to be a juiced up gorilla bodybuilder too. And then once you map all this out, it should start to look pretty boring. And that's a good thing, because most of my workouts, the boring ones, get the best results. But you can make them more enjoyable by just listening to a podcast or reading something that you're fascinated with in between your rest breaks. So then time's never wasted. You just get in, get it done, and get the out. And now with cardio, I won't tell you never do cardio, but I also won't say that you must do cardio, because I rarely do it, and the majority of my clients don't do it either because they're just too busy to add on more cardio. So you don't need extra cardio unless you just can't hit your step target or if you genuinely enjoy it. For busy guys, hitting steps is enough to stay in a fat loss phase, but aim for no less than 9 to 10,000 steps per day. Any less than that means that you have to eat less food to stay in a fat loss phase. The easiest way is just to get up and walk around for 15-20 minutes after every meal throughout the day, or just during your work breaks. Any reason at all that will get you close enough to your target, aside just getting up and moving around, taking phone calls, or whatever it is. Like, any reason is going to help you. This boring stuff will transform your body more than you think is possible. But how do you make this automatic so that you don't need to feel constantly motivated to get results? That's what we'll cover next. So when you drive to work, you probably don't think about every indicator or turn that you make. You've done it so many times that it has become automatic because your systems take over. Fat loss should work in the same way, because you can't rely on motivation every single day, especially when you're busy, you're genuinely tired, super stressed from work and life and family, and things are going on. So let's start with your meals. Technically, you can still get ripped without doing any meal prep, but I still recommend it that you meal prep as much as you can. You can prep your breakfast, like overnight protein oats, and your lunches by batch cooking grilled chicken, beef and veg, rice or potato. It's all very easy to cook. You can do a whole week's worth of food in like 1 to 2 hours, keeping it boring and simple. That way, your foods are ready to go. You know exactly what is in the container, and it's going to 100% lead to better consistency. And you'll also be far less likely to just grab random junk or from a cafe or cave into office snacks. I also strongly recommend that you write down your grocery list and order it online every week. You can even ask ChatGPT or any AI to write the list for you. You tell it the meals that you want to eat each day, and it'll break down a list, and then it's pretty much done. Then you're not going to walk down the aisles and feel tempted by everything that's on sale, some new ice cream or chocolate or whatever it is. This one change alone will make nutrition feel twice as easy because you're not overthinking it. And here's something that many guys often overlook. For example, if there are chips or chocolate in my house, I will eat them. So I don't buy them, and if I really want the chips, I will go and get them, which is rare. And then I'll just factor it into my budget. The goal is simple. Reduce the temptations and just make your consistency as smooth as possible and easy to do every day and every week. Treat your training the exact same way. Schedule it like any other appointment in your calendar, so mentally you know that's where you're going to be and what you're doing. Most guys do better training in the morning because then it's done, it's out of the way for the day, and it's not like hanging over your head thinking like, oh, I've got to train later. But it doesn't really matter. Like, whatever you can be consistent with is the best time. Just pencil it in. You know, your muscles don't have a clock, but don't train right before bed because that will hinder your sleep quality. If you do miss a session, don't stress. it's going to happen pretty much to everyone. Never miss twice, as James Clear said in his awesome book, Atomic Habits. It's all about consistency, not perfection, right?
This one rule, never miss twice, then you would, even if you fell off track every single time after you got back on track, you still would do it 50% of the time.
So if you train at home, keep your gym gear in like an easy to access, dedicated place that requires very little effort to set up. If you're using a gym, have your routine so that when you walk in, put your bag where it goes, grab your towel and your water bottle, pull up the program on your phone or app, whatever you're following, and get straight into it, into the warm-up. No yapping to locals and staff like,
"Oh, g'day, Bobby. What are you up to today? Did you watch The Bachelor last night?"
No. Just put your freaking headphones on, start training. No If your diet and training feels as boring as brushing your teeth, that is actually a great sign. But if you start to feel a bit restless, that's a risky spot to be. So let's talk about the shift that's going to separate the guys who stay stuck at 20% body fat from those who turn boring tasks into these automatic habits. So if you've reached that point where, everything's feeling a little bit stale, your meals, your workouts, your weekly routine, and there's part of you that just wants to lash out and eat shit, cancel a workout and just, binge. I get it. That's not actually a setback. This is a good sign, and it usually happens right when you're on the edge of this lasting change. I'm not saying you need to punish yourself. I never recommend that. In fact, I actually tell my clients to still go out and, have an ice cream with the kids or wine with the missus and beer with the mates. But this is the stage where your old self starts trying to fight to take back control because, you're coming off this initial mountain of motivation, inspiration, determination, and you've seen some good progress, but then these crusty old habits in the valley of despair are sitting there and they're feeling a bit lonely and rejected. The part of you says, take it easy, enjoy yourself, you've earned a little break, live a little, I'll be good next week. But if you fall for that trap too many times, next week rarely ever comes. Meanwhile, your new self, the one who is leaner, fitter, and more confident, the guy who actually feels in control, is desperately trying to hold on to the wheel. He's the one building the discipline, the consistency, and the self-respect, who can also enjoy a meal out without letting himself slip into a weekend binge and gaining 10 pounds. So there's intense tug of war between these two versions of you, and this is when you're in the trenches. This is your rite of passage to change. The problem is most guys do not anticipate this, and if the first 2 weeks are super easy, they forget that it can actually get challenging. And then any feeling of resistance means like, oh, there's something wrong with me. But it's actually proof that the shift is happening. It's just not going to feel that comfortable. You are rewiring your habits and your identity while killing off the old ones that kept you stuck. Every guy who's ever transformed his body, his business, or his life has gone through this phase, the messy, uncomfortable evolution that feels boring until suddenly it just doesn't. So one day you look back at yourself and you think, holy shit, how did I ever let myself live like that? That's what my one-on-one clients tell me after losing 30, 40, 50 plus pounds. So you don't need to enjoy every part of the process, but you do need to stay in it for long enough for these new habits to become who you actually are. And then once you do, discipline stops feeling like effort. It's just who you are. And if you are ready to make that shift for real, to stop restarting and lock in a system that works with your life, that is exactly what we build in the Metabolic Recon Method. It's tailored for busy professionals and business owners who want to reach 15% body fat or below without starving themselves or burning out, giving up, and ending up back to square one. You'll get a data-driven program with one-on-one accountability from me, so the process just becomes like second nature. If you hang out with me for 6 months, do you not think my habits are going to roll off on you? However, the spots are limited since it is a small, intensive group. To learn more, tap the Metabolic Recon link in the description. Or if you prefer to go this journey alone, you can get all my systems inside the Business Body Blueprint. It's my step-by-step system I use with clients to get and stay lean. And then after that, watch this video next where I'll show you everything I wish I knew before losing belly fat.